Hello and welcome to e-GMAT. We will solve question number 90 of OG Verbal Second Edition by using e-GMAT three-step process. In the first step, we will understand the meaning of the sentence. In the second, we will evaluate the errors in the sentence, and finally, we will review all the answer choices to get to the correct answer. So let's begin. The Commission proposed that funding for the park's development, which could be open to the public early next year, is obtained through a local bond issue. This sentence presents a few facts. It says that, according to the Commission, funding for the park's development could be obtained through a local bond issue. This park could open its door for public early next year. Now let us evaluate the errors by splitting this sentence into its clauses. So here comes the first clause. The Commission proposed that. Here the Commission is the subject and proposed is the verb. Presence of that brings us to another clause that reads, funding for the park's development. Here funding for the park's development is the subject. Presence of which brings us to another clause that reads, which could be open to the public early next year. Here which is the subject and could be open is the verb. What follows next is the continuation of the second clause. In the first part of this clause, we just had the subject. What follows here is the verb and the remaining portion of the subject of the clause that reads, is obtained through a local bond issue. Here is obtained is the verb for the subject, funding for the park's development. Now, which clause in this sentence modifies development? This is illogical. Not the development, but the park could be open for public soon. So here we have modifier error. Also, the verb proposed requires the use of subjunctive verb. Use of present tense is incorrect. That leads to verb tense error in this sentence. So these are the two errors here, and let us run the POE to find out what's the correct answer. Well, choice A is not correct as we discussed just now. Choice B is the correct answer because now the phrase the park's development has been changed to for development of the park, which is followed by the which clause that correctly modifies park and says that it could be open to the public early next year. Also, use of be corrects the verb tense error in the sentence. So choice B is the correct answer. Let's take a look at choice C now. Well, choice C is incorrect because firstly, omission of that makes it appear that Commission proposed funding for the park. This is not the intended meaning of the sentence. Also, this phrase, perhaps open to the public early next year, lacks verb, making it sound like an incomplete idea. Also, the verb proposed requires use of subjunctive verb, so use of to verb form to be is incorrect here. So these three errors make choice C incorrect. Let's take a look at choice D now. Well, choice D is also not correct because firstly, it repeats the same omission of that error as in choice C. It also repeats the same modifier error as we saw in choice A, and again it repeats the same lack of verb error as we found out in choice C. So these three errors make choice D incorrect. Choice E is incorrect because firstly we have again the same omission of that error as we found out in choice C, and this choice also repeats the same verb tense error as in choice A. So as we found out earlier, choice B is the correct answer for this sentence. Let's take a look at the takeaway messages now. Modifiers must be placed correctly to convey the intended meaning of the sentence. We must pay heed to the verbs that require use of subjunctive verbs. Also, connect different phrases to each other in a way to clearly communicate the meaning of the sentence in the most effective manner. The concepts tested in this sentence have been covered in e-GMAT Concepts Level 2, Modifiers, Relative Pronouns, and Level 1, Verb Subjunctive.